Three, two, one. I always forget the intro after a long break. But we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I am your host, Alan Pettigrew Jr., and in front of me are my two best friends in the world, Calvin McGowan and Philip Dixon. Guys, go ahead and let the people hear your voice.
Once again, everybody, I'm Calvin McGowan. As always, it's a pleasure to be here.
What's going on? My name is Philip Dixon, aka Mr. Fruit Salad, and here we go.
I can always tell we start these episodes too long because
That made me think of the Wiggles. I just want to throw that out there.
You said what?
His intro made me think of the Wiggles.
Interesting. I forgot about the Wiggles, but
that was not on purpose. We continue.
Oh, you good, guys? We're 1 week into the playoffs, and I guess if you count the play-in tournament, which you should not, is 2 weeks into the postseason. We're currently looking at, only one series is gone. The 76ers did their job. They went ahead and got the Nets out of here. Sad face. The Nuggets fumbled the bag last night with the Timberwolves, which I need people to get off the hype train for the Nuggets. We'll talk about that later. What? The Knicks are up 2-1 in their series. Boston's up 2-1 in their series. Really got to explain to me why they lost one game. Bucks 2-1. Suns Clippers 3-1. Guys, what are your thoughts so far? Because I'm liking everything we're seeing.
You want overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts. Let me get the overall thoughts. Oh, and Sacramento was up 2-1.
No, it's tied up.
Yeah, Sacramento. That series is tied up. Yeah, it's 2-all.
This playoffs has been very entertaining for different reasons than I anticipated. But also, I'm trying to sum this up in like short sentences before we get to game to game. So while it's been entertaining for reasons that I didn't expect, I am annoyed by the injuries of certain players that have taken away from certain series.
Oh, for sure.
AKA Kawhi, Paul George, Clippers curse, Giannis, and Joel Embiid right now is hurt, but they have time in between this series and the next. So that's my overall takeaway as of this moment.
Calvin, do you have something?
Not particularly, right? A lot of teams are more or less where you'd expect them to be. The Grizzlies have me a little sad at the moment, but that's okay. We'll get around to that, I'm sure. The Warriors made it interesting against the Kings after coming out tepid to start the series. Tepid's a good word here. And the Sixers were the only team that did what they were supposed to do, for real, to this point. But, that's why you play the games.
Exactly. So my one issue with this postseason has been the play-in games. When they first came up with the play-in tournament, I thought it was a stupid idea. Generally speaking, the 9th and 10th seed are 9th and 10th for specific reasons. They're not good teams. So they made us watch a week of those games with not good teams, especially out east. I feel like the play-in tournament is supposed to be for those teams that are like 1 or 2 years away from actually making some noise in the playoffs. Like, I enjoyed seeing OKC. I enjoyed seeing Minnesota in those situations. I do not enjoy seeing the Heat in the play-in. I get that it's very clutch games, and this is where Jimmy Butler comes alive. Interesting. Nice. Don't want to see it. Don't want to see you beat up a bad Toronto team. Who is this for? I guess it's a nice way to show off these teams before they go on hiatus, but you could have just gave them a national TV game at some point during the year.
But why would we do that when we could show you a crappy Lakers team for the umpteenth time this season?
It's all about market size, right? Like, once
Yeah.
again, market size of Lakers is big, even when they're trash. But also, like, we barely saw Sacramento, and they're nice. But also, we got to watch a bunch of these playing teams because it's all about trying to get the markets more TV exposure, essentially. Is what it all comes down to, which comes into TV revenue for the actual teams, for the league itself.
Yeah.
And it's annoying.
Yeah, it's a money grab at this point, and you both brought up like fan interest. Nobody's interested at the end of the year when you all know how bad your team is now. Now, we all learn as a nation that your team is trash. Good job. We'll come back to that later. Ooh. No, they should definitely just turn that into like the bottom seed, make them fight for crumbs. I think that would be more entertaining. Make them fight for seeding in the lottery.
I mean, I did find it hilarious that the person who hated the playing the most was LeBron James, or most vocal about it at least, and how he's needed it every year since, right? I find that truly hilarious, but also I don't understand the thought process of Here's what I understand. I don't understand the thought process of we want the audience, the viewers of the NBA, to care about the regular season, but we'll make it easier to get into the playoffs so teams during this season and players on said teams don't necessarily have to try as hard because they know if they can just get ninth seed, they have a chance to get into the play-ins. Like, that is contradicting itself, and that doesn't make much logical sense to me, I don't think.
Yeah, because it doesn't. Because it's a money grab, and they'll say anything to kind of like throw us off percent. We're not stupid.
Business.
We're on to your game, NBA. And I appreciate it. But stop playing with me, yo. Stop playing with me. And Philip, you brought up LeBron. Let's go ahead and talk about the purple and gold team.
Real quick,
that's another
though, because we ain't trying to hear about LeBron and the Lakers specifically. Not say LeBron, but the Lakers, because we said it weeks and weeks ago. We tired of these dudes. Like, let's just hurt and talk about this so we can talk about some games that matter. Let's talk about less about them and more about the team they're playing.
I'm down. Philip,
Okay.
I'm smiling big as hell for one reason. We finally got a villain that I like, and it feels. I know what you guys feel when you watch wrestling and you see like the bad guy be really bad, and you like you want to root against him. I am an evil villain on the inside. Watching like Transformers and stuff, I always wanted Megatron to win once, at least 1 out of 5. And now, Dillon Brooks. I know Dillon Brooks isn't Megatron. He not the super big baddie that we want on the court, but he's the dude that we need. I love these dudes. We're just assholes. That's why I appreciate Draymond Green. But that's a different series. We'll get back to that later.
Oh my god.
I love Dillon.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad we're getting to it later because I have a few things to say about that. Dillon Brooks. I love a guy who talks to the degree of what he does. Granted, he got 7 points in 19 minutes, is what it is. But I do like the fact that he's not buddy with LeBron or trying to be like this like little bro to LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, it is entertaining in that way, and it brings forth. I like to see competitive nature in that way too. Because at the end of the day, if you're not gonna talk the way to an almost 40-year-old LeBron James, and like that doesn't kind of make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, LeBron James is on his way out. He's not just fresh. He's not in his prime. You know what I mean? Like you can talk at any point. Talk now. And Dillon Brooks is like, all right, I'm gonna talk now. And he talking, but you can't talk and not win. You know what I mean? Like, that's a whole thing. But also, I don't know. Actually, whatever. I saw this whole thing on Twitter about like people going, "Ooh, who would this team beat anybody?" And it was like a bunch of trash talkers on one team, Run Artest, Dillon Brooks, Draymond, whatever. And everybody's like, oh, or Patrick Beverly. And I'm like, there's levels to this, right? Like, let's not be out here comparing Ron Artest to Dillon Brooks, right? Let's not be out here and even making a slight comparison to that, because Pacers Artest, Rockets Artest, he's a bucket getter, and then he would D up on the other end. You know what I mean? Like Dillon Brooks is a role player who is talking a lot. Beasley, these are role players that are talking a lot. So at one end, I'm like, yeah, I like the fact you're talking a lot. On the other end, I'm like, you just a role player. Like, chill.
That's the best role on the team. I don't know about you. You telling me I can be okay at basketball. I gotta play hard for like 30 minutes, and I get to talk cash shit for an hour, and then to random people that I don't know in the media. Sign me up. That's my dream job. Bro, if I was a foot taller.
Says everybody who's not a foot taller. Continue.
You know, I got the athleticism where they would have thought. I would have had a chance. I'd have had a chance to play in the league if I was a foot taller, and you know it.
This man drinking a plastic bottle, cup bottle. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, hater. You know, you're a hater. You just like Dillon Brooks. You're a hater. But yeah,
honestly, okay. If I may, honestly, I kind of just feel like Brooks he's kind of just indifferent to everybody not in the Grizzlies uniform. Like, I don't think he's actively malicious. He just doesn't care about you, and he doesn't hide that fact.
Isn't that what we want from our players?
Oh, yeah.
Weren't we complaining about people being buddy, and now we get one who clearly doesn't like anybody, and it's an issue.
I love
it. I think the only person he actively dislikes is like Klay Thompson. Like, those dudes don't like each other, and I'm not clear why, but it's fun to watch.
Dude, did you LeBron whisper to Dillon Brooks before the game?
Keep that shit up, young fella.
Yeah, he was like, you talking too much. Like, you crazy. You know, that's why it was hilarious. And Dillon Brooks is like,
Brooks is very good at getting under dude's skin. He's definitely gotten under LeBron.
I feel like this might be the worst part.
He said,
this might be the worst part about it for LeBron. Back in the day, you start chirping like that, that's 15 points straight. On your head, you can't say nothing about it. LeBron can still do that, but he's like, do I want to use it against this dude? You got lucky. You getting real lucky right now.
But you know why? Because Dillon Brooks is right. He old.
But I guess to touch on the game right quick though, because
that game made me talk about the game. Don't nobody want to talk about that. That's serious.
When I heard that soundbite, I laughed so hard. Like
it was
for days.
It was great.
But yeah, no, let's talk about the game, Calvin. Come on now, that's what we do. Let's talk about the game, Calvin.
Okay, this will be quick because it made me sad because the Grizzlies. Let me explain. All right, let me explain. The Grizzlies.
You said it made you sad?
The Grizzlies came out like timid and hesitating and like nervous, and they played like it. They made a lot of dumb mistakes. They didn't take good care of the ball. They couldn't hit anything like at all for an entire quarter. That first quarter was awful. That first quarter, 39-9 Lakers.
I saw that shit. That shit was crazy. I've never seen the NBA team score 9 points in a quarter.
The Grizzlies spent an entire quarter doing everything wrong. Right? And the Lakers, to their credit, did come out aggressive and whatever, but like a lot of it was just like the Grizzlies just sucked for a quarter. Right? And like the thing is, it took them the better part of the second quarter, but they kind of calmed down, right? Ja in particular calmed down near the end of the second quarter, started cooking the Lakers. They called a timeout because, like, he basically cut the lead in half by himself. But the problem with a 30-point lead is if you let dudes get a 30-point lead on you, they have a lot of room to fuck up. And, like, the Grizzlies played fine the rest of the way, mainly Ja. Like, if you haven't seen the stat line, it's wild. It's like 45 points. Hold on, let me pull this up. It was something wild. Okay, it was 45 points, 13 assists, 9 rebounds. Right, 6 of 10 from deep. With like playing like with a sore hand, an injured hand, something like that.
Yeah.
Right. But like, and the thing is, in spite of a 30-point lead, by the end of the game, it was just like it was a 10-point loss, which looks a lot more respectable. But like, you still let them get that 30-point lead in the first.
Right.
Right. You outplayed them the rest of the way, but it didn't matter because of like what you let them do in the first quarter. I would assume if I was Jenkins, though, I'd be like, okay, that AD rim running nonsense, that's got to stop. Right? He doesn't like. We know AD doesn't like to work in the post, so we're gonna force him to work in the post. Like I would put Tillman against AD, just like super tight off-ball defense, make him work for it. He's not athletic enough to like. He's not quick enough to go around you. He's not strong. Like he's not quite strong enough to go through you. Like he's gonna have to work for it. Right? Unless he just decides to camp in the post. And like if he's gonna put those numbers up, we're gonna make him do it in the post. Right? We're not gonna let him just roll to the basket. If I was him. And box him out. You can't. What do you have? Like 18 rebounds or something?
Listen.
Boxing out Anthony Davis is
17.
Boxing out Anthony Davis is extremely hard. I'll give him that. But that's the one part of his game that I can't say anything bad about.
Not fun to split.
Well, regardless, but if I'm the Grizzlies, I'm also like, okay, we've played our worst basketball in that first quarter. They played their best. This is the best quarter they will have all series. All right, now that we got all the nerves out, we played our shitty basketball. We got games to win. But like they do need, so y'all, when we're recording this, it is Monday. They do need this game tonight, though. I think they gotta get a W in enemy territory. You don't want to go back home down 3-1.
Do you think they have the capabilities?
Yeah. So
Like confident, yeah, or like a hopefully.
He from Memphis.
So I'm gonna put it like this: the series would be a lot easier if like half the front court wasn't like out for the playoffs. Right? Like things would be a lot easier if they had Steven Adams and Brandon Clark healthy right now. Probably Aldama is healthy. Who is it? Laravia wouldn't get minutes. It's the playoffs. This isn't even hating on him. It's just like he's a rookie. But like the thing is, right, because of those injuries, they can't, like, you gotta, like, they kind of have to, for rebounding purposes, they kind of need to do more team rebounding, I guess. Like, fairness, Tillman has done a good job of rebounding, but it's like there are aspects of the game there that if you have Clark and Adams are a lot easier, right? Dealing with AD is a lot easier when he's got to deal with like a human brick wall for 4 quarters. But he doesn't. Tillman, you're the dude. Well, it's either you or Jaren. I'd rather Jackson have more, like, be able to roam more. But I don't know. I'm not the coach.
Where's the young big fella at? Young big fella, the one they signed on the 2-way deal.
On the bench. I don't think he's played a minute in the series. If he did, it was near the end of the game.
If there's one person that's going to keep Anthony Davis off the boards, it's him.
Like, fairness, I don't quite get the point of like signing him and then like not giving him any minutes, but that's not really my business. But like the main advantage the Lakers have is Anthony Davis, basically, right? And what I mean by Like let's be real. Like nothing against LeBron, but as we stated, this is old LeBron. This is not young LeBron. You can't I would not care if he put up 40. Long as if AD didn't do anything, I would not care.
You're going to be very upset when LeBron puts up 50 just to end the series and be like, I don't want to play in Memphis anymore.
See, I don't think that's how that's going to play out, but I appreciate the entertainment of that statement. But
You know,
and let's
Brooks.
besides that, you're an AD hater, right? You are a noted AD hater. He can't he has yet to string 2 good games in a row.
Because he's a scrub. AD is a scrub.
And the Lakers' hopes are dependent on AD playing well.
Wait. You say AD's a scrub?
AD's a scrub.
AD gets hurt. He's not a scrub though.
No. AD is a scrub. He's in what he does not equate to winning. He's incredibly productive, not a winner.
Interesting. Okay. I'm not gonna argue with that actually.
There's nothing to argue with. That man, for the first time in his career, as a player in games he's played in, he's above 500. And it's only 5 games above 500. He's not a winner.
Okay.
He's not a winner.
He does
not win.
I mean, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that take. That's why I was I kind of was okay with it. You know what I mean? That's without me knowing that specific stat, that does make sense to me. It does. Especially if you know his career prior to the Lakers, right? The next chosen individual. But if you saw him play, the only really good year they had was the DeMarcus Cousins Rajon Rondo year, and that was a good DeMarcus Cousins and a really, really, really productive point guard Rajon Rondo, and they didn't.
Cousins at the peak of his powers. It was beautiful.
And they didn't get past the second round. So
the two of them barely played together because neither of them could stay healthy at the same time.
It's funny though because I don't know. The NBA in health, right? The poster child for our generation of basketball, the poster child of unhealthiness is 2 people. Kawhi and Anthony Davis. No, because Derrick Rose was unhealthy. Derrick Rose was unhealthy, but I feel like the way in which he was unhealthy is different than Anthony Davis and Kawhi, because Anthony Davis and Kawhi have kind of bamboozled to a degree, right? I know Anthony Davis won the championship, but that's much more LeBron than Anthony Davis, right? But they bamboozled organizations, although into them being franchise star players, but they spend just as much time off the court as they do on the court. Derrick Rose was the Bulls he was there the entire time doing that. You know what I mean? Hit that stretch from 08 to 2011 where he was completely healthy in the organization, and then he kind of turned to a journeyman after that. The way in which they engage with organizations, in comparison being Kawhi and Anthony Davis in comparison to D Rose is a little bit different in my opinion. But they are the push child of unhealthiness. But in retrograde, they're also the poster child for load management. And that has strongly, in many ways, deteriorated a certain product of the NBA, right? A certain way of how to engage with the fans, a certain way to how to watch the NBA in the regular season. And yet it turns out that these things still aren't helping them out in the postseason. And I will be surprised if Anthony Davis makes it past throughout this playoffs injury-free. That's how often he has hurt himself or gets hurt, not himself, but that's how often he gets hurt playing basketball. And Kawhi right now is what? Exactly, hurt. So I don't know. It's interesting stuff. I don't care about the Lakers. I wish it could be more articulated.
Fair.
True. But the Memphis Grizzlies, I do find them entertaining. I just don't know if Morant's going to win the big one. Like they're
So I'm gonna make an argument that like it's kind of early to call that.
real quick though,
Mm-hmm.
is just to speak on Morant.
Mm-hmm.
We know there are 3 tiers of star players, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means essentially you're the top 3 best player on a team, right? There is the superstar, right? There is these superstars, right? We know who these superstars are. That if you have them on your team, you have the ability to possibly win the championship, right? Then we have the people under that who are like second tier. That like the argument of can you win a championship with these people, right? That'd be like a Klay Thompson in his prime, I guess, right? Like that is like a second tier of right under like the Steph Curry's, right? For that example. But then you have like the third tier of like some teams have them as their best players, but like they won't win championships because you can't win a championship with them as your best player. One being like Karl Anthony Towns, one being like Jimmy Butler, right? Like
Anthony
these
Davis
guys.
goes here.
Say again?
Anthony Davis goes there.
Anthony Davis, okay. Anthony Davis goes there, right?
Davis
Like
is
we,
in that second tier. Don't do it.
like,
Don't do it.
but like we all can like debate which superstars belong in which tier. As of right now, 2023, John Morant is what?
With the caveat, of course, I'm biased. I'd say like probably the second tier, right? The thing with Ja is, and the Grizzlies collectively as well, is that like Ja's a very young player. So for some perspective, real quick, right? When I look back, pretty much without exception, dudes start winning. Like a lot of like the dudes we think about when we start thinking about like, oh, those like team like dudes who got championships, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hall of Famers, and like they generally got their first championship around the age of 27, unless they were paired with some other older star who was around that age,
Right.
right? So like exceptions to the rule, or like exceptions to that first rule would be like Kobe, it would be Kareem, right? Who got their championship early because again they were paired with another older star. Ja doesn't. I don't think he really has that older star at the moment.
You don't think he has that older? You know he doesn't have that older star.
He doesn't.
Don't do it.
Like I'm just.
Don't do it.
I was trying to think. The things I was trying to remember ages. I was trying to, but like the entire Grizzlies roster is young.
Oldest person they got is Steven Adams, and that is nowhere near
Yeah.
superstar category. Nowhere near.
And so like that's kind of the thing. They're young, and as good as they are, young teams generally don't win chips and whatever.
I also think if your best,
But I don't think that is an indictment of like Morant, right? Like the thing is, right? What I think he needs ultimately to do is to like slow down like just a little bit, like half a step, right? To like analyze his options, right?
when's the last time a championships team's been their best player, or the championships team's best player has been their point guard, and yes, when's the last time a championship
The Warriors.
but hasn't been Steph Curry, the greatest shooter of all time?
Isaiah Thomas? I'm just throwing out a name. Chauncey Billups.
Was Chauncey Billups the best player, or was Rashard Lewis the best player? Not Rashard Lewis. Rasheed Wallace.
I guess we're getting into best player versus most important. But like Chauncey Billups.
I don't know who's best. I always question the point guard if your best player / most productive and efficient scorer is your point guard, can you win championships? And if you watch the way Steph Curry plays basketball, sure, he gets the ball in his hands a lot, but he also plays off the ball a lot. So he and sometimes he'll go whole stretches in games playing the 2 guard essentially. You know what I mean? So I'm always curious about, we are of this time where the best players are point guards essentially for many teams, but that doesn't win you championships, I don't think.
But like, just on that basic argument, and I know people talk about the importance of wings. Your best player being a wing doesn't guarantee you a chip either. Otherwise, there'd be a lot more teams and a lot more players with chips.
I think, best player, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Tim Duncan, not as a post player, but he, those Spurs teams, you had the Ginobilis and the Parkers going out there doing their thing. But obviously, it's Tim Duncan who's like the number one option for that team. But I think you can name just from let's say in the last 30 years, 35 years, you can name way more swing players than you could a point guard. You know what I mean? But now, is that guaranteed? No, because Steph Curry. But like the odds of it are just a little bit lower, I think. But I also could easily be wrong.
So this is just me. I just think, and this is me kind of thinking out loud, that even as we say that, it's not worth getting super hung up on, just because like, whether like as an organization or individual, what have you, you get hung up on this is the way other teams found success or what have you, ignoring for a brief moment that like basically every dude you can name who was the best player on a championship team is or will be in the Hall of Fame. But like, right, for example, the Grizzlies get hung up on that, then they're not going to maximize what they have right in like Ja or like some other team won't maximize what they have. And I think some of it's also just like teams with the point guards have struggled to do that. Like just look at the Trailblazers, right? Like they're good one year and they suck the next. And like that's got very little to do with Dame.
Right.
Right. He is consistently excellent. That is more an indictment of the leadership and like how they put teams together.
Right.
And possibly whether or not you can get people to come play in Portland, but you control what you can control.
Yeah, I know. I'm not saying that I'm right. I was just saying I think it's kind of interesting to think about it. You know what I mean? Just like a thought process of former champions and like who do we think and like what has the most probability, the best probability to possibly win currently and going forward. But once again, all this could be null and void because Ja Morant is mad young. But also like as a person whose favorite player ever is Derrick Rose, a super athletic point guard who uses that athleticism to go like above the rim. It's always like worrisome in terms of like injury and all that kind of stuff too. You know what I mean? So
yeah, but again, control what you can control. Also, like, I don't really see it, but who knows?
All right, we got to move on. We got to move on to something less depressing.
Fair.
Look,
the Clippers are losing.
That's equally depressing. That's not a good series, yo. I feel like this playoffs is the beginning of the end for our era of superstars. Like this is part of their last hoorah. Like think of every player that you've liked and been like a super big fan over the past 10 years. This is the last handful of guys. And Kawhi is a walking injury. This is the first time Kevin Durant doesn't look like instant offense, even though he's still scoring the ball like endlessly. CP3, He just another point guard out here, and that hurts my heart.
Not me.
That man, point guard.
I mean, isn't he like 39?
That's besides the point. I don't care. I don't care how old he is. We're watching old man LeBron, but it's the new dudes. Like Devin Booker has been really good. I like Devin Booker now. As far as I'm concerned, he should go down as one of the best because he's had great mentorship, amazing mentorship. Kobe, early career. Now you get to watch Kevin Durant. You just soaked up knowledge for the past 2-3 years with Chris Paul. Outside of that, have nothing to say about this series. Outside of the fact that it's kind of sloppy.
If Kawhi is not hurt, they win.
Kawhi is hurt though.
Is hurt, so they will lose. Also, while I mentioned second tier earlier, Paul George is by far second tier.
Oh, for sure. He might be third.
No, I'll say second. I'll really say second though. Like if Kawhi and Paul George are both healthy this year, like they would probably make it to the finals. But once again, the Aston being healthy.
But then Paul George wouldn't be the best player.
No, he'd be second tier. That's what I'm saying. So like, because Kawhi would be the best player. But I mean, the Suns are gonna win. They're probably gonna make it to the finals. Because I trust them to win way more than I trust the Nuggets to win, by far. Like, I don't know. The Nuggets are just the Nuggets. Giannis has been proven to be a really good regular season player. I need to see him win the playoffs, but
who?
He's already got a chip.
To be honest, Jokic. Excuse me.
Okay.
Jokic is a really good regular season player. I need to see him win the playoffs. But if he goes up against a team with Kevin Durant, a healthy team with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul gets one final chance to go there again, Nuggets not winning. Nuggets not winning at all.
I need the Nuggets for that one.
But yes, Suns are gonna win. They might as well. They're probably gonna win the rest of the games if Kawhi does not play.
I think they'll still lose. They'll still lose one. I feel like they need to be on their haunches, and that bothers me a lot.
Maybe, but like, yeah, I definitely don't think. I don't know. They might win one, but I don't foresee it to tell you the truth. Because what did Doc Rivers say? Don't play with your meat.
Wait, what?
I just heard about that.
Doc Rivers had to say
Phrasing.
Meat, and then he came back the next day and was like, "Sorry, some of my players brought it to my attention. I meant to say don't play with your food."
I don't care who he was talking to. How did the crowd not immediately erupt? Am I just that immature where I'd be like, bro,
Hilarious.
Doc, you sure? You want me to quote you saying that? Because you shouldn't have to tell these grown men when to play with their meat.
Crazy.
So easy. Can we talk about something that's actually been fun? Sacramento and Golden State. This goes back to me feeling like the changing of the guard, because I feel like the Kings aren't good enough to win this series, but they're good enough to scare the hell out of the Golden State Warriors, and I like it. Like, nobody else on the Warriors team except Mooney and Curry have come to play in every single game. Everybody else looks like they've been in like win now mode for the past 8 years. Everybody looks a step slower, but they're still like really good.
Like here's the reality though with the Warriors, right? Is they're, depending on where they're playing, they're two completely different teams, right? If they're playing at home, they are one of the best teams in the league. If they are not playing at home, they are one of the absolute worst, with worse road records than several teams that had no hope of the playoffs. And the thing, if it goes to 7, the Kings are gonna win. Like, just being real for a second. Like, the advantage the Kings have is called home court advantage. The Warriors, again, have been an awful road team all year. I I can't imagine that changing in the playoffs. Like, obviously, the playoffs are more important, and you should approach it or whatever. But the 2 games the Warriors have won were both at home. Right? There's nothing to indicate that they are a different team now than they were through most of the season.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't think the Warriors are going to win the series. Yeah, the Kings played a bad game last game, and it was still close to the end, right? Like, and this is at Warriors at home. Like how when you said, different team at home, and they are away on the road. Have you guys heard this rhetoric around Jordan Poole about
You don't
him
need to be more specific.
about him not being a good basketball player?
Yeah.
They say that about basically everybody, depending on what game you look at.
Yeah, I hate it, but it's been like a constant, like for the last couple of like this week maybe, a legitimate conversation people have having.
Stop listening to the gamblers on Twitter.
Yeah.
No. This is like ESPN, Fox Sports One, which
They're also basically just gamblers on Twitter, but on TV at this point.
yeah. I mean, but like it's dumb. But I was wondering if you guys heard it. I don't know. There's so much to talk about with this series. But I mentioned earlier, I did not have many chances to see the Kings play earlier this year. And they are a fun team to play because let's say they win and they play the Lakers possibly next. They will run the Lakers out the gym because the Lakers are too old to deal with them. They will get tired. They will get tired because, but the Warriors are built for speed. They're more built for speed than the Lakers are by far. The Lakers will get gassed quick because they are fast and it's nuts. Once again, I talked to this with Alan. They play like Chino Hills, right? They play like a high school team where it's just go, play minimal defense, but like fine defense, but like go on offense. You get the ball, no, you're going. That's why Sabonis is like bringing the ball to the court a lot. He gets rebound, he just pushing, kick out, shoot. Pushing, kick out, shoot. Now, there's that. Secondly, I need to get this on my chest. There was one play where Steph Curry was on the wing. Draymond Green has the ball a little higher than the free throw line. And Sabonis is guarding Steph Curry. Curry makes a backdoor cut on Sabonis because Sabonis is guarding him too close. Backdoor cut, Draymond Green, bounce pass. Curry gets it, lays it in. Good basketball play. The announcers at that time when this play happened said, "Oh my gosh, what a great play by Draymond Green. What a magnificent pass." No. It was a guard being held by a big man, and he was guarding him close and took a backdoor cut with a basic bounce pass for a layup. That's the kind of stuff that makes me irritated when they talk about Draymond Green and his immaculate passing. It's basic basketball. It just so happens that the NBA today is full of individuals that don't have common sense basketball knowledge because they base a lot of these players off of their potential athletic ability more than the IQ of the actual game itself. So when he makes basic plays, people are going overboard and saying it's a fantastic play. That irritated me like no other. I watched the game, and I continue to watch the game, and these things happen all the time. Draymond Green gets the ball, says a rub screen to a handoff for Steph Curry. He runs. Steph Curry doesn't get the ball. He runs back and rubs off again. Gets the ball a second time. Steph Curry, boom. He shoots a three, makes a three, a tough three. It goes in. Draymond Green did not look at the basket once. It's handoff screens. This man's going to the Hall of Fame. This man's going to the Hall of Fame, and it irritates me. No other. So I need to get that off my chest because that is ridiculous. The level of excitement for minimal level basketball play
in terms of like thought process is ridiculous. And once again, in today's world, Paul Pierce is not a top 10 draft pick in the NBA draft because of his athletic ability. But we all saw Paul Pierce play. That would make no sense. That is today's basketball, and it blows my mind. Sorry. I need to put some. No. Continue. Somebody go. My mind's hurt.
Look, you poor human, because Draymond Green is still the reason why they're kind of winning. And I know it's just like a fulcrum piece, but he like one of the only old people that's still kind of like competing for that team.
Didn't they win with him gone?
That's besides the point.
What? Like they won their first.
They lost
their first game. He wasn't
playing before.
They won their first game. He wasn't playing.
They were at home.
It got nothing to do with him. It got nothing to do with him. Let's not do that. That's no.
He helps. He helps. You know it. You know he helps.
But like, I'm not saying he doesn't help. I'm saying that the excitement for basic basketball is what annoys me. Mm-hmm. That's just one example. And you can watch any game and see like a very similar thought process, right? Any game, not just with Warriors, obviously, but like with any NBA team. You will constantly see these things of somebody going, wow, that was a really good play. No, it's not. It's a basic play. If a guard is getting guarded by a big man at the three-point line and he's too close, backdoor cut. That is basketball 101. You get taught very, 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 very young. And that's just one scenario where it bothered me. But I would not say that he's the reason in the game. Steph Curry's the reason. Let's not talk. There's levels to this. Draymond Green plays good defense. Steph Curry's the reason in this game. I don't care about the defense. If you're over here and you're doing triple singles, and you're playing 40 minutes in the game, you do good. But Steph Curry, and some of the shots he's making are astronomical, right? Like, we sit down, and I think we are, you talk about us in this generation earlier, of this, like, being a passing to the guard. In 2023 playoffs, Steph Curry's making some incredible shots, some crazy shots, some shots that really don't make sense. And he is the reason that the games are now tied 2-2. No one else. People are playing the roles. Steph Curry is playing far and above, better than the role he should be playing at this moment with this team. Also,
my basic argument against him being the sole reason.
Andrew Wiggins. He came back and has fit in like a glove. So we can't bypass that either because he wasn't there for regular season, and we understand how big of a contributor he is for that team.
Now, don't act like people wasn't coming for my man's head for the first two games of that series.
I was. In my mind, I was like, come on, dog, what he talking about? But
floppy fans.
But I give credit where credit's due. And Andrew Wiggins is doing his thing in allowance to be able to get them to this position right now, right? Without Andrew Wiggins, you can make an argument without Andrew Wiggins, they're not here in the first place because
for sure
their season, like you can see how indicative that would be based off the regular season. You know what I mean? But let's not pretend that it's not Steph Curry who got this team on his back and is climbing up Mount Everest. Like, it is what it is. Like Klay Thompson, good job for hitting some threes as the 3-point specialist on the team. Draymond,
good job. Basically all Curry is 90% of the time.
Yeah, but when Curry gets the ball, everything collapses. The defense don't know what to do, right? Klay Thompson now, this is post-injury Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson now is just 3-point shooter. Good job doing what you do. Draymond, great job playing defense when that's all you're on the court to do. Like, you're on there to do nothing else. Good job for doing what
you're selling this man a little short.
I'm not. Good job what you're supposed to do. Andrew Wiggins, he's over exceeding what he's supposed to do in this moment, being that he did not play for the team for that amount of time, right? Like, he's over exceeding. Steph Curry, there's no question. He's doing too much in the most positive ways. That's like, oh, yeah, this guy might be a top 5 point guard of all time. Like, or in like combo guard.
Because if we go
Should definitely
combo
be
guard,
classed as a point guard.
he's the best combo guard of all time.
That's fair.
He's probably the best combo guard of all time, right? Like, we're really thinking about it. So he's doing his thing, and then, good job, Looney. You blocked a shot. You're a big man. You're 7 foot. Block shots. Like, I'm not about giving people credit that they're supposed to credit for stuff they're supposed to do.
But then why are you giving Curry credit for putting the team on his back? He's the team's best player. He's supposed to do that. Why are you giving him his props now? Keep the same energy.
Look, I'm keeping the same energy because the amount of effort it's taking to do what he's doing is ridiculous. And it's equaling up to wins. It's equaling up to a tied series, right? So a win.
But like, here's the thing. The basic pushback of Curry is the only reason. Like, fairness, obviously, Curry has to show up for them to like be successful. But like, we've seen what Curry can do by himself, and it's not that much. This isn't hating on him or anything, but like we saw that season where he didn't have Clay, right? And like, he can put up 40 all he wants, but if his teammates don't show up at all, it doesn't matter.
At all. And we've been talking, it's the same thing with the Golden State Warriors for the past 10 years. They are kind of like reading the same book over and over. We know what it is. Can we please talk about the Kings a little bit more? And specifically, De'Aaron Fox. We can talk about Malik Monk too. But De'Aaron Fox, we're watching a superstar be born, and I feel like nobody's going to give him the high five and accolades that he needs right now. I keep hearing people being like, oh, he can score, but what else can he do? That is besides the point. A lot of your favorite point guards, all they can do is score. So
I think it's probably going to be because he plays Sacramento, though, right? Like, not because of skill, just because of where he plays. Like, don't no one know nothing about the Kings.
Here's the thing. One thing I have noticed with social media and the internet, it doesn't matter if you're not from there. You can still become popular. At this point, when we do not showcase a really good player, it is an option. We are doing it to ourselves. Like, I don't like when like major media machines be like, oh, it's not a provocative player. It's hard to market. You create the market. I get that you're saying like people won't turn in for this. If you give people the same thing 2 weeks in a row, they don't have an option anymore.
Yeah, it sounds good until algorithms become a thing. Then all of a sudden we're forced to watch Lakers even on the internet, on social media. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that kind of stuff. But I see what you're saying. De'Aaron Fox, I don't know if we're watching a superstar be born, but he is a very entertaining player, at least, right? Like, to watch, and the system in which he's in right now really fits his style of quick play. And he really feeds well off of Malik Monk, and Malik Monk really fits well off of him, right? Like, they mesh together very, very in a very solid way. Kentucky boys.
For the record, for anybody, if I may for a moment, listening, through these first 4 games, Fox has averaged 31 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 2.5 steals, 44% from the field, 34% from deep.
That sounds like a superstar to me. Thank you. I just needed one. Look,
like what?
Malik Monk is playing out of his mind right now. He's going to get a real big bag, especially if they make it to the playoffs next year. He's getting 2 years, 20 right now, which is nice. But I like him.
Why don't teams want Malik Monk?
You said what?
Why don't teams want Malik Monk?
I'm pretty sure he'd be a restricted free agent.
No, I'm saying, like, he's been on 3 teams already. Why?
I blame Jordan.
Oh, Malik Monk. Never mind. I was thinking of Fox.
If you start your career in Charlotte, your career died in Charlotte. You're gonna have to bounce around a few places to revive it.
Because he was a Laker too. So like, what happened though? You know what I mean? Like
The Lakers weren't good.
He went from bad franchise to bad franchise, and now he's at a franchise that actually tries. So there's a reflection of you as a player.
right.
We've seen a lot of players who were subpar to okay, and then they go to a better situation. You're like, oh, he's actually good.
Right.
Like when Andrew Wiggins went to the Golden State Warriors. It's like, oh, he's actually done. He's been good the entire time. He just had nothing to play for.
Remember when he played for Cavaliers? Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, Kings are good. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, right? Like they're good. They know the position. They know what they're supposed to do. They know exactly what style of basketball works for them, and it is working for them. It is regular season. They're number 3 in the West, but now is the time to where to see if it's going to work in the playoffs. But just because they might not make it far this year does not mean that next year they won't learn from it and continue to grow and be very, very good in the same right? So I don't know. There's really entertaining to watch, and I like watching the games a whole lot, especially this playoff run.
Yeah, we can touch on the Nuggets Timberwolves very briefly because these are two franchises that have no idea how to win. There's no reason why the Nuggets shouldn't have closed it out last night. The Timberwolves weren't playing good basketball, and neither were the Nuggets for the most part. Timberwolves, you can tell they're really young. But what we doing with Kitty Cat, yo? That's
One disrespectful thing for her.
that's not even you know how we were talking about like superstar tiers. He's not even a tier 3 guy for me, bro.
No, he tier 3. Like
He's not a tier 3 guy.
The issue is, as of right now, they have to win a championship team, you need a good tier 1, 2, 3. They have 2 of those tiers filled. They don't have a third one, right? Mike Conley is not that because he's 36 or whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, Cat is a good third option. Edwards could be a first option one day, but as of right now, for argument's sake, let's say it's a 2 option. They don't have a number 1 option, so like, they need at least one more person to come in and fill out the roster in that kind of capacity. Because they have really good role players too. You know what I mean? Like they know what they're doing. They just don't have the talent level to keep up with some of these dudes. Like Cat's getting torched by Jokic. Torched.
Because Cat's not a good defender.
Boom.
The reason why he's not tier 3 for me.
Tier 3 don't gotta be good defenders.
Is it what?
I mean, tier 3 don't gotta be good defenders, right? I mean, he just has to, because it has to like, all tiers have to do is off-balance the opposite team in like whatever it is, right? So you can't tell me that Karl-Anthony Towns combined couldn't go out there and score this or contribute to the game the exact same as Kyrie, right? Like contribute to the game. Yes, because he's gonna get more rebounds. He might get I don't know how many assists he averages a game, but he might get 3 or 4 assists, whatever it is, 2 assists. But then like he don't get those points. It is what it is. He's soft, absolutely. But you can be soft and be number 3. You can't be soft and be 1 or 2 though.
The best thing I got for Cat, if he has to be Chris Bosh. And I don't think he's Chris Bosh.
For the record, Gobert, Conley, and Edwards all took more shots than Towns last game.
Because he not that dude. He not that dude. He ain't never been that dude.
How many fouls do you have? Because the games I have
watched, he fouled out.
Exactly. The games I have watched,
he still played 36 minutes though.
He's been in foul trouble a couple times because once again, as Calvin mentioned, not a good defender, having to guard Jokic. So Jokic is just get him in foul trouble. Up, all right. Get some cooking on whoever else your backup is. That's essentially what it is, right?
Hold up, wait.
Because
I just need to watch the games, I guess.
if Rudy Gobert takes more shots than you, then something's up.
No, I'm just trying to figure out why wouldn't you put Gobert on Jokic?
Because Gobert should never go to the 3-point line. That's why. Gobert is there to block shots, not go to the 3-point line.
Yeah, we already saw what happened when he come out on the island.
It's embarrassing. I feel sad for the guy.
Look like my dad wearing skates.
Lord.
I gotta put that video back in the rotation. Okay, let's go over to the East. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I am not invested in any of these matchups in the East.
Right.
None of them.
No.
Like I enjoyed watching Mikal Bridges and the Nets try really hard. I enjoyed that. I did. The Heat are a very frustrating team for me to watch. They're just another team that tries really hard. Outside of that, I hate watching them play. They're frustrating.
Well, it's the playoffs, so you know Jimmy Butler's going to show up every game now.
But that's the only thing. And I like watching Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is a player that I would love to have on the team if I was a GM. But watching Jimmy Butler do Jimmy Butler for 40 minutes while dudes stand around,
That's so funny.
is annoying.
Hilarious.
Like you got this dude fighting 1-on-5 and somebody who will willingly fight 105 and be productive doing it. That's very hard to get. And then you have people. You got people around them, yo. Like I can't tell you who their starting center is.
Kevin Love is starting for them in 2023.
Wait, I'm pretty sure Adebayo's still the center, though. Isn't Love a
Who
force?
cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
But Kevin Love's starting.
Each one of those dudes are productive playoff players at this
I
point.
like Bam Adebayo. But personally, I like him. I like Bam Adebayo. But I will say this: it is hilarious that you said about Jimmy Butler because it's true. Being that he's a tier 3 guy running around, dribbling the ball.
Tier
Dribbling
2.
3,
Tier
but
2. Don't do that. Tier 2.
3.
I'm going to make an argument that if Paul George is tier 2, then Butler is a tier 2.
Hey, Philip tried to put Karl Anthony Towns in tier 2. Jimmy Butler is
No,
better.
I didn't. I said tier 3. You tripping? I said Edwards is tier 2.
Oh wait, that's right. I tried to kick him out of the tier.
Yeah, you
But-
tripping? Yeah. I was like, hold on. I was like, getting twisted.
Like, Jimmy Butler and him cannot be in the same tier. You're tripping.
Nope. I'm gonna keep it.
But in fairness, Butler has been to a title game as the best player on the team,
The title game.
which automatically puts him at least tier 2.
He actually wins games, historically speaking. Cat.
Paul George doesn't?
No.
No. We're comparing him to Cat, not Paul George.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
there's even a ceiling for Paul George, if we being honest.
okay, sure. I don't know. Listen,
It's okay. That's gonna be an episode we come back to after the postseason.
sure,
We
maybe. I don't agree, but you know, it is what it is at this point. We will get back to this as you mentioned in a previous episode, or later in a future episode. The Heat have won 2 games because Giannis has been hurt 2 games. Giannis is back tonight. They won't win. They won't, right? Like, that is the only reason the Heat won is because Giannis was not playing. You want to talk about, I think the Bucks are going to win the championship because they have the perfect 3-tier system. You know who it is. Giannis, Middleton, Drew Holiday. You know exactly what you're going to get, and everybody else fills in the roles. A good number 4, Brook Lopez. Just shooting threes, blocking shots. They're balanced. They know exactly what they are, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Side note real quick. Low-key, Lopez is overqualified for his role. But
Oh, for sure.
He's overqualified, but also he like broke his foot and had to learn how to walk again. Like he changed his whole game up to be a completely different Lopez than he was for the Nets when he was running rampant over there when he was one of the best centers in the NBA before the NBA had good centers for a little bit.
I want to write his biography.
No, you don't.
I would love to do that.
No, you don't.
I feel like it'd be fire.
I feel like a lot of those stories would be about his twin brother, though.
Yeah.
Wait, the guy owns property and has a house. The guy owns property and has a house in Disney World, and you think that'd be fire to write about? Come on now. He loves comic books. This guy ain't fire to write about.
That sounds like a lot of fun to write about.
You also have to think about he was the best player in New York. Period. Nobody was as good as him. Not a Nick, not another Net. So he had to have some level of notoriety during that time. And then he just became a role player.
This man went to Stanford. He ain't fun.
Oh, you sleep.
But granted, I don't dislike Brook Lopez. Like, I don't want that to come off as that. I actually do like him as a player because, like, he plays his role into exactly what you need him to do, which is, like, impressive because he doesn't want to do too much or doesn't do too little. Also, he's been in the league for a long time. He's been in the league for a long time. But yeah, Heat losing. Bucks winning the championship this year. It is what it is. They're too balanced. They're too well out.
I mean, the Celtics are going to win the championship this year, but they still the game still got to get played.
Interesting.
I've been on this pretty much since we first asked the question, I think.
Speaking of the Celtics, they should have been dispatched the Hawks. I can't tell you who played on that Hawks team outside of DeJounte Murray. I can tell you a lot, but it's because it's a young team. Like it'll
probably be a gentleman's sweep. So
I'm gonna be real with y'all. I have not tuned in for a single game.
I can't help you either, but hey.
Don't care enough. Don't care. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a fair or even matchup.
Right. It's not.
Like you watching that series to watch. Hopefully somebody is your favorite team. I'm not diehard enough to be like, oh yeah, I gotta see this. There's certain matchups that I'm like, yeah, never again. I've seen what the Hawks are. No, I'm not watching the game for scouting purposes.
I don't care about Murray. I don't care about Trae Young.
I forgot Murray was on that team.
Murray got suspended. He got suspended.
I'm not even going to ask why.
This next game, he got suspended for bumping the ref this past game.
Also,
that's it.
Also, De'Aaron Fox fractured the tip of his finger.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
I find it hilarious that was breaking news. So I'm like, put some athletic tape on it. Keep going. Like, what are you talking about?
Shoot, I forgot what I was about to say. That's how bad that series is for me. Don't remember anything I was about to say about it. I guess we got one more series. Knicks, Cavaliers. On the lost episode that I blame Philip for.
Absolutely.
We talked about how I thought the Knicks Cavaliers series was going to be one of the better series, and it still has been. It's not the best basketball in the world. It's not. Both of these teams have like little brother, big brother issues on the roster right now. Like the Cavaliers' best players are in their backcourt. Their front court is trying to figure it out still. And it seems like it's going to take a year or two, minimum. The Knicks, kind of have a big two going on. But even their big two isn't that scary. Like, I love me some Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson's a killer. Like, you can go back and read my work from his rookie year.
Brunson, tier 2. Randall, tier 3. For a championship team.
True. I can rock with you every day of the week saying those two. Jalen Brunson seems a teensy bit.
I think he's a tier 3.
I'll tell you why I don't think he's a tier 3. Your tier 2 needs to get you, as far as I'm concerned, needs to get you to at least the second round of the playoffs. Having Jalen Brunson on your team, like, the rest of the team can suck. It just needs to be you and another star to go along with Jalen Brunson. He can get you to the second round. He's proven it for the last 2-3 years, even this time with the Mavericks. He can do that because chances are the team in front of him does not have a point guard that's better than him.
Facts. He's nice.
Even if you do have a point guard that's better than him, you're not going to knock him off his pivot. He's going to give you at least 15 and 7 every game, and it's not going to turn the ball over. Sign me up for that all day long. I love him. I do.
He's nice. He's nice. But, this is a fun series. They're going to lose next series wherever they play, but it's a good series.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like, y'all know I don't like the Knicks. Not a Knicks fan at all.
Knicks fans are the best, though. I think listen. Earlier before the podcast, I talked about, like, the negative aspects of social media. The positive aspects are seeing Knicks fans when Knicks are not losing. But not winning, but not losing. And it is so funny. Like, I like the Knicks based off the fans. I don't even like the Knicks, the team. Like, how I hate Laker fans? I hate the Lakers. Mainly because the fans are idiots. But I like the New York Knicks for the opposite reason.
Because for the team?
I mean, I guess it's the same reason, but in the opposite way.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have my own issues with that fan base because it's so flippy floppy. And I get it. That is what New York is. That's what their people are. Gross. Very gross. And this is coming from a person that's just like kick their team to the side until they decide to get good. Like, I'll be back. OKC Thunder fans. I'll be back next year. They're fun to watch. But that's besides the point. I feel like Jalen Brunson can win you games, and especially when he's out playing two dudes who have been all-stars in the past. Wait, has Garland got the all-star nod this year, right?
Who?
I think so.
Yeah.
He did?
Maybe. I don't know.
Come on. It's so unprepared. Forget why I have y'all on here. But yeah, no, I feel like that's the biggest issue with this. And it's also not enough for me to care. I've been tuning into the games because they're competitive, but I don't care. And I don't think I care about any of these games out east because I feel like that's where our NBA champion is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So everything else feels preliminary.
For sure. Whoever wins the East is winning the championship.
Yeah. Now, I do have new predictions for Western Conference Finals.
Are we getting there already?
No, not yet. I think Sacramento and Denver are going to be in the finals. I mean, the Western Conference Finals.
Okay.
And y'all might have to get on my head because I don't know the brackets. Out east, it's got to be Philly and not Memphis. Philly and Milwaukee. Hello, Phillips friend.
So you proposed this without knowing the brackets?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Continue.
No, but those feel like the best two teams right now in both areas.
Suns, Bucks win again. Rematch of a few years ago.
Chris Paul got to retire if that happens. I'm not gonna lie. I can't watch another year of him being okay, knowing that he got popped twice by the same team. Like that's tough.
By the same team, but still, Giannis still, you know what I mean? So same team, but like it's one of like the best players we've seen in the last 10 years easily.
I don't care. It's not enough. It's not enough. Especially when I know this is like his last time. Like this is his last real chance. This is Chris Paul's last real chance to go get a ring.
Right.
Like he looked like he can barely run out there.
I wouldn't go that far, but okay.
You know, there's times where he just don't look. That's not the point guard anymore. That makes me sad.
Not me.
It's because you ain't love that little man like that. But all right, guys, I think that is our finish. Y'all got anything else to add?
I do not.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of the Traveling Hoopers podcast. I have been your host, Alan Perry Jr., and in front of me are my two best friends in the world, and they're going to sign us out.
Once again, everybody, I'm Calvin McGowan. It's been a pleasure. If you're joining us on YouTube, like, share, subscribe, leave something in the comments. You, of course, can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Enjoy the rest of your week and enjoy your team in the playoffs while it lasts.
Yep, my name is Philip Dixon. Do everything Calvin said, and I hope you don't enjoy your week.